It seems grandiose to start something like this by saying, my fellow Canadians. My fellow Canadians, the hour is dark. And we need to be able to take serious action to check the momentum that is building in Canada towards state control, a propagandized false reality, and the safety of our children in our public education system. Our children are in danger in public schools all across the country because of a pernicious and false ideology that destroys children and destroys families. I'm talking about gender ideology. Now, gender ideology, as you may know, is a belief system that says that we have a gendered soul, that our gendered identity, our soul, can somehow have a different, like it was delivered to the wrong address when we were born, right? We might have a penis, but we really got a girl's soul instead. And because of that, schools need to affirm, because historically somehow these people have been so marginalized that they barely even existed. The school system indoctrinates children. It is indoctrination, it's affirmation turning to medicalization that leads to sterilization. And all along this pathway in schools, beginning in kindergarten and grade 1, when children are taught about gendered pronouns, and even if you're a boy, you're a biological male with a penis, your pronouns might be she, because you've got this gendered soul that was delivered to the wrong body, and that we need to intervene in schools and intervene in hospitals with toxic chemicals and vile surgeries that cut body parts off of children. And we need to keep that process secret from parents. Anyone who stands up against this gets destroyed. Today, a Supreme Court decision came down in the case of Barry Neufeld versus Glenn Hansman. Barry Neufeld is a courageous, loving man. Spent 30 years in youth corrections in British Columbia and saw every imaginable family dysfunction and atrocity. He understood and understands patterns of sexual abuse and how predators operate because he wrote sentencing recommendations. And he worked with people on parole, and he saw how these predators operate by breaking down the boundaries of safety that we teach children to protect themselves against predators. And he expressed a concern about SOGI, the curriculum imposed in British Columbia, in his capacity as a school trustee, to say, in my experience, this looks like a pattern of grooming, of breaking down those boundaries that protect children from sexual predators. There's something wrong with this curriculum. And in response, the head of the BC Teachers Union, Glenn Hansman, defamed him in the public sphere, in the media, calling him insinuating he was a predator, that he was dangerous to children, that he was a bigot and a phobe, all the usual shit. Today, the Supreme Court released its decision, giving credence to Glenn Hansman as the protector of the underdogs. defending the secret keeping and the indoctrination processes happening in school and silencing legitimate criticism of this despicable ideology. We're fucked. This is a state-sanctioned religion that can't be criticized. At every level, every concerned, rational human being who says, wait a second, I'm sorry, this thing about being born in the wrong body doesn't seem to make sense. And when you look at the medical literature that's coming out and the clear evidence that this process of social transition and medicalizing children does not help. It harms. It doesn't help. Affirming these kids doesn't help. Medicalizing them doesn't help. And sure as fuck, keeping it secret from parents doesn't help. My fellow Canadians, I lost my child to this despicable ideology. She was taught that I was unsafe for her. That she couldn't live with me because I might ask questions. That I might get her fucking pronouns wrong. This is happening to children and parents all across this country. And anyone who questions it gets attacked. You know what the only thing we can do now is? We can fucking stand up! June the 9th. Stand up across Canada to these atrocities. It is the only way we will stop this.